Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Today is Tuesday, September the 13th, and just got into the office, and I want to obviously, share some more notes and some more experiences that I've had in my career, in my line of business. One of the things that I was thinking about this actually this past weekend was in regards to from from when we started, in real estate up to the point we're at now. It's been obviously a long journey. It's been a very difficult journey, right? Nonetheless, I didn't expect anything other than what has transpired, within our career. I got licensed when I was 18 years old in real estate, and I dropped out of high school when I was 17. I was going to school here in San Bernardino, and then I got kicked out of the school district. I ended up going to Atlanta, Georgia, because I have family out there on my mom's side, and I got kicked out of Atlanta, Georgia school district for fighting again. I ended up coming back out to Fontana School District, and basically got kicked out of there as well. So, school wasn't for me, man. It was, I'm not gonna say it wasn't for me. I guess I didn't want it to be for me. So I made the decision to drop out of high school. When I dropped out of high school, I ended up getting with my wife. Actually, before even dropping out of high school, I was already together with her. And, it was one of those situations where I had to go to work. So, got to make some money, right? So I always like working. Me and my brother have always been very hard workers compared to to the people that are around us. I think we've always been that type of leader or that type of mentality, right? Or that hard worker, right? We put in the work, no problem. Whether it's having to go out and throw flyers, or at the time we were younger, we should do that as well, or going and grabbing a pick and an axe or painting or whatever we had to do, right? Just to make that extra money on the weekend. So, anyways. Long story short, ended up dropping out of school. I got into real. I was working with a company, doing a cleaning service. So basically, I was cleaning up the yard, cleaning up the properties for them, and then the broker didn't like to show houses, so they ended up hiring me to go out and show the houses, and that's basically how I started my real estate career. Got licensed, and at the time I was just too young, so a lot of customers didn't they didn't trust me, I guess. I mean, and I don't blame them. I was 125 pounds, 18-year-old kid, that really didn't even know what the hell I was getting myself into, right? So what I used to always say, I used to always tell the customers, well, I'm not your realtor. Even though I was their realtor, I was telling them that I wasn't their realtor, that the broker, was sending me out here to just open up the door. But what ended up starting happening is I started having conversations with them. Then they started noticing that when I would open the door, right, I wouldn't just open the door and stand around and just, see what they say and get all nervous. What I would do is I would walk into a house, and then I would, turn on all the faucets and check the water pressure for them, turn on all the lights, and walk around the house and just do a little inspection for them. And customers really like that a lot. In fact, I used to get praised for that a lot. They'd be like, what, we met other realtors and older realtors and blah, 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 blah. And, they're not doing any of that. So I was, obviously trying to stand out. So long story short, they ended up starting to come back and not even asking for the broker anymore. Now they were asking for me. I would sit down with them. I would always give them the time, right? I was working 7 days a week, so I was, always in the office. And, I was always very thorough in sitting down with them and explaining everything to them, and they seen that as valuable. Because especially, a lot of my clients were Hispanics, and they didn't know how to speak English. All the documents are in English. So they love that, man. Customer service, right? Sitting down with them, giving them the time, explaining things to them, what's good, what's bad. And even though sometimes we did obviously have to have some difficult conversations, whether it be their offer got rejected or whether they didn't do the repairs. But one of the things that I realized when I was going through that stage, because I was very young, was that if people give you an opportunity, right, and you're sincere and you're in it, to help them, right? People will always come back to you, man. And that's how my business started, right? It started from there. Actually, at 19 years old, I ended up moving out of that real estate company, and I ended up opening up my own real estate company. I was 19 years old, right? And I'm not going to say it was in a real estate company, because to be honest with you, it was just a suite, right? It's a small suite, and there was like 5 or 6 of us that ended up coming with me and my brother, Ricardo. So we started working out of there. Long story short, Ricardo, my brother, went to C21. I ended up going into Remax. And, we just kept working, and we got a really good idea of how a real estate company was ran. a corporate real estate company. And what I end up realizing, and I say this story all the time to a lot of my agents, is that I recall, having this big real estate office, right, in Rancho, and because I was one of the top producers there, and what used to trip me out is I had this big office and I didn't do anything but kick a soccer ball, while I was doing my prospecting or whatever, kicking a soccer ball in this big old office with a nice view. But I only had a small little desk in there. But I recall we used to sit at the coffee, and in the coffee cafeteria area and get coffee or whatever. And when it was time to go to work, everybody would disappear into their own offices and lock their doors basically. And all you would see outside the window was, the new agents sticking out. And at the time, the atmosphere between the broker was like, hey, dog eat dog, right? So, if it wasn't that, help them out, like, hey, you guys should try to mentor these new agents or, help me out, as far as a broker goes. So we ended up, I still recall that, man, and that was embedded in my brain. I was like, man, I should have, helped them out. But at the time it was like, oh, they're competition, don't help them because then they're going to steal your business. And it wasn't like that, man. It honestly wasn't. Now that I look at things back, I was like, man, I wish I would have helped a lot of those agents because, some of them probably would have made it. Most of them quit. There was no kind of support for them. Why would they stick around? So so the way we developed this real estate company is, we have mentors in place. We have team leaders, right? We have open space where everybody can chit chat and and talk, and instead of just having to put everybody inside of a room. But back to the customer service, I still have I had a customer just call me about 2 weeks ago. A customer that I've been working with since I got into real estate, and that was back in 2000, and tripped me out because he came into my office, right? And the crazy thing is that this real estate company, this building used to be a real estate institute, right? For people that want to get licensed. When I was 18 years old, I walked in this office, right? And inside this office here, right here where I'm at right now, this office here is where I took my test, my principal's test. And we come back and we buy this building, right? 20 years ago when I met him, I was flat broke, right? Driving around in a car. Mitsubishi is a beat up car, and I didn't even have any gas to go show houses. I swear to God, it was crazy. No gas, and I was out there hustling, man. I was hungry. There was many times where I was hungry, and I was like, man, I had to go show these houses. Or I got to go do this. I got, and so not even a drive through on it. I mean, straight up, or I didn't even have the money to be able to buy it, right? So I just come back and I think about how things have changed, right? How the effort, the work, the ups, the downs, right, have all finally paid off. And I'm I don't know if I don't consider myself successful, and I don't say that in an egotistic way, but I say it's successful because I don't know. Success for me is probably when I'm at the end of the road, right? That's when I say, okay, I was successful or I wasn't successful. As I'm going through this life or as I'm going through these stages, I don't say, hey, I'm successful, right? I'm a millionaire, right? Or this and that. I just consider myself very goal oriented, right? I want more. I want to do more, and I don't want to do more just because of the money factor. Because obviously we do it for the money, but more for a personal fulfillment. Number one, and number two for me is I want my kids to know that, hey, my dad, went out there and did his the best that he could and pushed as hard as he could. And his life wasn't in a waste of life, right? It was we went out there and we got it. It's scary. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It is scary, and it is many times we couldn't even go to sleep. And I say we couldn't is because me and my brother have always been together, and we've always, since we were little, we've always been a team. But we've had some really difficult times in our life. In fact, some of the hardest lessons that we learned were given to us by a family member, right? I mean, it's crazy, how sometimes you think family is everything, but reality is that I've had friends that are more family to me than some of my family members, which is crazy, right? Which is crazy. But long story short, the moral of this video, right, is that if you put in the work, right, you've put in the work, and sooner or later it will pay off. It will pay off. Sooner or later, just put in the work. Whether you're working at a warehouse, you're going to climb up the ranks, right? Whether you're working in real estate, you will climb up the ranks, right? these are all trials, right? And I think for me personally, now that I look back, and again, I'm not going to say I'm the, super successful, right? But now that I look back and I think about all these bad incidents that I had and all these bad situations, personal and business wise, it's crazy because now I can share this information with my customers. And Mike Ferry, which is a real estate coach that we're part of, said you have to earn the right to speak about it. And that's crazy. That always stuck with me because how can you teach me to sell a lot of real estate if you've never done it? How can you teach me to be a better person if you've never done it? Right? How can you teach me to be a better father if you were never a better father, or in a mother's case, vice versa, right? So earn the right, man. Earn the right. If you're gonna be one of those parents that tells your kid, do your best and push your harder and blah 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 blah, but you haven't done it, that's a shame. That's a shame, right? Why are you not doing it? Why aren't you pushing forward? Right. So think about that, man. I'll leave you guys with that. It's been a hell of a ride. We ain't done here. We're still pushing forward. But I wanted to share this with you guys because I know that as a new real estate agent, man, sometimes I remember I used to be super negative, right? Or I used to be super sad of myself. Why me? Why this? And why that? And now that I'm able to share my story, now I understand that everything that I went through, right, throughout these 23 years now, as far as getting into real estate, have all been part of my story, right? Another chapter in my book. So ask yourself how many chapters you have, right? When your last chapter, right, is written in your book, what are people going to say about you, right? What are your kids going to think about you, right? So I'll leave you with that. It's Tuesday, starting the week. Let's get to work. I'll see you guys later, man. You guys have a great day. Take care.